External environments create realities that individuals have to address in order to survive. Poverty is no exception. The closer you are to daily survival, the fewer the resources that you have. The fewer the resources that you have, the greater the level of instability you have. The greater the level of instability that you have, the more difficult it is to devote time to academic learning because your time is spent addressing daily survival. How you spend your time determines what you know. This session will explore the realities and hidden rules of survival, stability, and abundance as they interface with educational institutions.
The impact of poverty on knowledge acquisition. So, from that, poverty refers to a state of limited resources and opportunity, including inadequate access to basic necessities such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education. So, from that, we can see children from low socioeconomic status background in inner city are more likely to experience life events that hinder their learning ability compared to children from high socioeconomic status background. The home environment and parenting style influence. Poverty can impact children, language acquisition, reading skill, and intellectual development due to the limited access to education resources such as book and learning material and engaging learning opportunity. Shortage, congestion, and lack of extra curricular activity and support service can hinder student access to high quality education. Restrict access to learning resources such as book, computer, and internet. Without these tools, individuals may struggle to explore and expand their knowledge beyond what is taught in the classroom. This lack of resources can create a disadvantage in accurate information and staying updated in the latest knowledge and technology. Basically, the most important thing that we need to understand the complex relationship between poverty and learning. So from that we can promote education equality, improve education outcome, and create inclusive learning environment for all individuals, irrespective of the social economic status.
Okay, next we're moving on to the literature review. So first we'll start with financial constraints. So financial constraints, it actually affects the ability of children to attain knowledge, okay? So in the resource and investment theory, it is stated that, it highlights that there are the disadvantage faced by children who grew up in poverty in comparison to those who are better off financially. What happens is low-income parents, they have limited financial resources, so therefore they find it difficult for them to provide products and services that can aid their children's learning. So this will include like the internet, books, and other resources. So there are also these additional stresses such as overcrowding, unstable housing, exposure to violence that makes a home an unfavorable environment for kids to learn. So what happens is this situation will then have a negative impact on the educational outcomes of children in poverty. Next, academic preparation. Children from less affluent homes has lower academic preparation compared to those who are from affluent homes. So this can be seen through a significant difference in their academic and cognitive abilities when you compare them to their advantaged peers. So this situation can be explained by the child's responsive and intellectual development during their early infancy. The scope of learning opportunities that families with limited financial resources can offer their children is strictly constrained compared to others.
So, the next point is geographical disparities. What does it mean? Okay, so let's take a look at children from economically challenged communities. They tend to perform worse in terms of academics because of lack of necessities such as water, power, what else? Even books. Rural schools tend to lack necessities such as books, desks, lights to even study at schools. How are the children going to study comfortably? It's a lack of motivation for the students if those necessities are provided. But what about teachers? The teachers also, the qualified ones, they don't want to work in rural schools because no internet to do TikToks. I mean, I don't want to go to a rural school and teach that and get paid by who? What do you guys know about not eating healthily?
Getting skinny.
Wow.
Being too hungry to function properly.
Good.
Sleeping.
Okay. Yes. More?
Not being able to understand concepts.
Good. Damn. I guess you're not malnourished then. Your brain is working properly. Unlike me, who is unable to think of all those things that you guys just said. Okay, so let's take a look at all the essential nutrients that a student needs to have their cognitive abilities and academic performance improved. They are omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and many more. So if you don't eat enough, you don't have enough energy to study, your brain isn't developed faster like other students, maybe even slower. And your physical strength will be lower because you don't have enough energy to go to class, you don't have enough energy to do anything.
Okay, so next up, the justification of research method. Since we're using Rudder theory design, it provides us an excellent instrument for exploratory research, allowing us to approach the subject of poverty and knowledge acquisition with an open mind. Next up, we use this theory because it is an excellent and at collecting participant voices, which is a major strength in offering original insights and viewpoints. Thirdly, lastly, it enables us to learn more about the interactions between socio-economic circumstances, cultural elements, and educational environments within the context of poverty and knowledge acquisition. So moving on to interpretations, we have prepared 4 questions for our interviewees, and we have interviewed four people, 2 of them who are academics and the other 2 are students in ETP. So the first question is the impact of poverty on educational achievement. The 4 interviewees shared similar thoughts about this. All participants believe poverty can significantly affect learning, and they emphasize the importance of parents in shaping the educational outcomes. Next point. And they also have a few contrasts of opinions. The first point, which is parental attitudes. Our first interviewee, Saiful, who is a student in UTP, he stated that poverty is often hereditary, making it difficult for families to prioritize education. He also emphasizes the need for parents to educate and motivate their children. Because some families who are in poverty, they believe that education is not a good way to get out of poverty, as it does not give them immediate benefits. So instead of motivating their children to focus on their educations and completing their formal educations, instead the parents immediately send the children to work and to gain money for the family. The second point is lack of awareness. This is stated by Dr. Shahira, which is our second interviewee. She is a senior lecturer from KUPTM. So she suggested that poverty leads to a lack of awareness about the long-term benefits of education. This can be linked to Saiful's previous statement. As people in poverty assume that after children finish learning the fundamentals of literacy and mathematics, they should immediately start working and make money for the family. This can be linked to the concept of Hablum bin Anas in Islamic philosophy, which emphasizes on us as a society to have a positive interpersonal relationship with one another. The last point is malnutrition and opportunity gaps. This is stated by Dr. Zahari, who is a senior lecturer from UM. He highlights malnutrition as an additional barrier to education for impoverished students. Lack of access to nutrient-rich foods can affect the students in terms of physical and mental development. Financial constraints, he also stated that due to lack of financial support from the poverty-stricken families, they cannot afford to send their kids to additional tutoring sessions or to seminars which can further improve their children in terms of academics and gaining new skills. This can actually widen the opportunity gap between the wealth and the poor. So Dr. Zahari's perspective aligns with the NEP's focus on holistic well-being, NEP, which is short for National Educational Philosophy, which highlights physical, mental, religious, and intellectual of an individual's well-being are crucial for us to create a healthy society. Moving on to the second question, which is socioeconomic status and access to education. Our interviewees shared similar thoughts about one thing, which is ignorance and poverty. To further explain, poverty-stricken individuals may undervalue the importance of completing formal education. Other than the next point is parents' encouragement to work instead of pursuing education affects children from completing their formal education. Can also be a factor to why poverty is still on the rise in our country. So moving on to the next slide. Obviously, there's going to be a contrast of opinions regarding this question. The first one is responsibility for support. Dr. Shahira argues that those with education and means should take responsibility for creating a supportive environment. Can be reference to Confucian notion of men from Chinese civilization and building a justice-filled and equitable society. The last point is spreading knowledge. We can also help giving our support by spreading other factors that can be related to poverty, such as campaigns against issues like sexual harassment and also child marriages. So moving on to the second opinion, lack of support for learning disabilities. This is highlighted by Dr. Zahari. The lack of financial support for additional tutoring and academic seminars for children with learning disabilities. Compared to family who has a stable income, they can send their children to attend private schools or like private tutoring. This can obviously help their children to gain more knowledge or to better their academics and also gain more skills. So this can relating this to his previous points, is basically within the opportunity gaps between the poor and wealth. So that Dr. Zahari also emphasizes the importance of comprehensive understanding of Islam, promoting which this religion promotes togetherness and mutual assistance for one another. So now moving on to the last point given by Farahani and Saiful. They share similar views on the lack of understanding regarding high educational goals. So yes, that's all.
Moving on, in the third question, multiple perspectives are explored regarding the current state of educational infrastructure. The interviewees includes Dr. Sharifah, Dr. Zahari, Saiful, and Farahani. A common viewpoint among them is the inadequacy of the educational infrastructure. Dr. Sharifah emphasizes the need for adequate funding to maintain a clean learning environment, while Dr. Zahari focuses on the disparities between urban and remote schools. Saiful points out the lack of critical infrastructure, especially in rural communities, affecting access to quality education. Farahani also acknowledged the impact of poverty on education and the difficulties faced by students due to insufficient resources. However, there are differences in perspective as well. Dr. Sharifah highlights the importance of technological infrastructure to facilitate decision-making and idea sharing. Dr. Zahari emphasizes the development of critical thinking in students, and this perspective aligns with the concept of man as portrayed by the Greek philosopher Aristotle, where human characteristics include thinking, intellect, and rationality. Aristotle considered intellectual contemplation to be the highest and best human activity, while Plato argued that intellectual pleasures surpass physical ones. And finally, Farahani appreciates the government's efforts in providing comfortable infrastructure for all socio-economic groups, specifically mentioning the B40 category. In the fourth and final question, the perspective of the interviewees, Dr. Sharifah, Dr. Zahari, Saiful, and Farahani reveal both similarities and differences. They all agree on the importance of breaking the cycle of poverty through various means. Dr. Sharifah focuses on improving education accessibility. Dr. Zahari addresses social and economic inequities. Saiful acknowledges the role of both low-income and high-income families, and Farahani emphasizes the significance of education for national development. However, their perspectives diverge in certain aspects. Dr. Sharifah emphasizes Malaysia's commitment to existentialism, which holds that if individuals find meaning in what they do, they can change their lives and fortunes. Dr. Zahari proposes an overhaul of the education system to foster critical thinking. Saiful emphasizes an individual's drive and ambition in achieving success, while Farahani suggests strategies to bridge gaps and prioritize harmony. These perspectives align with the concept of man from Western philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre. Human beings are born without a predetermined guide, and it is their duty to find meaning in their own lives. Aristotle, human traits include thinking, cognition, and logic. Buddhism, which holds that man is a supreme being and the master of his own fate, and Islamic philosophy, which emphasizes fulfilling the trust or amanah of Allah and assuming responsibilities as a fiduciary, respectively.
Suggestion and conclusion from this topic. The first one, we need to create inclusive learning environment. From that, we need to develop target poverty program prioritizing education. We need also to provide financial assistance, scholarship, and education resources. And we need to also address specific needs of different states in Malaysia. The second one, we need to improve education quality in low-income area. So, we need to increase investment in education infrastructure, implement teacher training program, develop a curriculum catering to the student from improvised background. The last one, we need to foster community engagement and partnership. Basically, we need to collab with local organisation, business, and community leader. We need also to offer mentoring program and after-school activity. And the last one, we need to provide access to education resources beyond the school.